so dance pop music today. Do you like it?
Love it. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Reality Queens, where me, Jen Huffman, and Rachel Riley, the queen of Big Brothers and Traitors and many other shows, break down the latest in reality TV. And as usual, we do our casting notices because Rachel is also our casting queen. This week, we're talking about
The Mole.
Season 2.
The Mole Season 2. But also, we have some gossip about who could possibly be on The Perfect Match. And we have the pictures of the Big Brother house were released with AI. And Big Brother Canada Traitors cast was released. So
I didn't even see that. Amazing. Also, we already have people saying hi and also telling us who they think the mole is. So this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be like
Sean?
Yeah. I have thoughts on that. Let's wait. Let's dig in. Rachel and I are gonna go. Layla, send us.
I don't think I saw the edit. Did you?
Yes,
what did you send it to?
Send the link again because I was interested in seeing that too. I was like, what is she doing with it? But hi everybody, and we're gonna jump into it. We'll read your comments and we'll address Sean when we get to Sean. But we'll kind of go through it from. Rachel, if you know Rachel and I, we will start in one place and end up in another, but we're going to try to kind of go through it and get
jam through a bunch of different things. It's the ADHD.
Yeah, it's very strong in both of us. So This should be called like the ADHD Queen podcast. So we have this Mole 2, which some people are saying is the worst season of the Mole ever because they think it's so obvious who it is. And also because it's been like the lowest prize pot. But I think that makes it the most exciting because you see people draining the prize pot the most ever, like willing to take huge risks, bring it to zero, be greedy. So that's like controversial because some people are like, think it's a bad season just because they don't see any money now, which doesn't mean that it's a double header. Tomorrow's the finale. If you're watching this on Thursday, if you're watching this later as a recap, that's fine. But if you're watching it in real time live, tomorrow it's a 2-episode finale. And we don't know how much more money they're going to put in there. There could be like $100,000,
They have to do something. Would they have like $80,000? It's like insane. It's like, do they even have 80 right now? Like, it was 50,000 last episode, and then it bumped it up this past episode. They bumped it up just a little bit, right?
I think the pot can get bigger, but they haven't let it get to where it can go. Because if you added up I was adding up like the amount of money they've taken out, even the time, which we'll get to it, where one person drains, almost 70 grand out of it. They had other things before it that people had drained money from. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're like, oh, you can win up to this. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I guess they're counting on people messing with it to do that. I was like, but if nobody really messed with it and people worked together and kept building the pot and the Mole wasn't very successful, it would be more money than that. So, we'll get into it.
Okay.
So we start with the cast that I love. What do you think?
This is our cast. Here we go is the cast.
Yes.
So I love everyone obviously on this season. Like, I think that some of my standouts were, Hannah became a standout, but Muna was always one of my standouts. And then,
I love Hannah and Muna, and I want to watch them like do the Amazing Race together or something.
I love them together. I love Hannah and Muna's friendship. Like, they feel very much like they're real friends, right?
They're both so smart. They're both beautiful, smart. They're both totally in it for themselves. Yet, strangely enough, when they worked together and put it aside, they're like unstoppable. So that was like really interesting to see. And they're both confident. Like, they're just like, I would be friends with both of them, and I would watch them both on different shows. Like, I hope they're cast on many things, which we can get into theories on some other casting stuff, but I just love both of them a lot. And we have
like a lot of different comments about who people think is Ryan is the Mole. Sean is the mole. Jen has an interesting
I'm shocked that everyone here isn't saying Mike, because everyone's like, oh, it's so. That's why people are also saying that it's the worst season ever because it's so obvious it's Michael or that it's Mike. But that could be just to throw us off.
I think it's Michael.
I know,
I still think it's him.
Well, I keep thinking like maybe, sometimes the simplest answer is the answer, and that he is really revealing himself and he is the mole, especially because if he's not, and he is as kind of like bumbling and messing things up and not as smart as they show, then he wouldn't be able to be so smart at the quizzes every time. Like he would go home earlier because he wouldn't be such a good sleuth. So that made me think he might be the mole. But all right, so let's start.
Okay, but Michael messes up every single competition.
So let's go through some of those. So the first competition is where basically Niche nominates himself to kind of lead, and then is like, oh shit, when he realizes that he will be the one who's screwed if he messes up. And none of the other players that are dropped in to potentially take their place that have to go through this like obstacle course get through. So we could say either the mole is unsuccessful there, but they're really in a way trying to they try to lead you to believe it's Niche while showing a lot about Michael. They put a lot of shade on Niche in the beginning. Like, is he just a dick and a leader, or is he trying to take a leadership because he's trying to throw things?
Well, he did try to take the leadership. So Niche the whole time has tried. We see him the entire season. He wants to be the guy that everyone's listening to. It's like, I feel like it's very obvious. Okay, they said, where can you watch? Layla said, where can I watch The Mole? You can watch it on Netflix. And then Hannah Horn said, Claim to Fame, season 3 premiere. Miss Robin Roberts' niece is Bianca Good Morning America anchor.
I wouldn't even.
I see that. I could see that now that you say that. Okay.
Oh, that we actually, Rachel and I were, before we were podcasting, we're chatting about
Claim
reality stuff, and I was like, I completely forgot to watch that show. Like, we talked all about the cast, and then I got so into The Mole and all these other shows that are on that I forgot to watch it. So,
so Zen says The Mole doesn't have to work very hard, which is the truth, which is why Nice is easy to look like the leader or the mole, because everyone is messing up. And why every single episode
everyone's going to look guilty because they want to send people home.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Why does every single episode, why does Sean literally try? He's doing too much. You know what I mean?
So this is like kind of a little bit of the roller coaster you go on. At first you think, all right, the mole, if they were smart, will lay low a little bit in the background, and, be reliable, but lay a little bit low. And then maybe come out swinging towards the end and make it seem like they're just trying to win, not the mole, kind of like the Dan Big Brother strategy, like something like that. But on this one, that's why people thought it was Niche at first, because they were thinking he's doing the opposite, like he's doing what you wouldn't expect, like taking a leadership role and they're screwing up. But then you see immediately on that treasure, like the second episode, you start to get the feel for Michael. And this will take me to Sean, when he keeps dropping the treasure chest because he can't pick it up. But
I mean, that's to me the dead giveaway. So look,
but Ryan
Michael also, though, he tells all these sad, sappy stories the whole entire time. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. But he tells the sad, sappy stories. He's like just really trying to do too much, and then he just can't do the competitions.
It's true. You know what? But what I did notice, and you want to put the cast back up? Maybe instead of going episode by episode, we'll go person by person, suspect by suspect. But we don't necessarily have to go in order, because we can kind of know, like, okay, in the beginning, Niche tries to take a leadership, and then Jennifer tries to take over and take one, and she ends up getting sent home first. So anyone who's been watching, she's gone so fast that I almost forgot she was on the show.
100%.
And then the next person out was Andy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, sweet Andy, who I read he's done over 600 escape rooms, like all over the world, which they didn't. I don't know if they said that on the show specifically, but I was reading about him. I was like, oh, he's an interesting choice. Like, I wonder why they picked him. Like, does he have a secret, kind of like Sean has the police officer background? And then I realized, oh, he's just like an escape room expert, but he didn't get a chance to let people know that because he was off of it so quickly. And then it feels like it really gets into it. You get into the Hannah and Tony showmance, where they both drain the pot for the exemption, which makes both of them look very suspicious, where Hannah's batting her eyelashes and playing Tony.
Is she playing Tony? Because look, I have a video. Okay, I have to point this, and he's doing too much. He is like really, okay, he is going for his perfect match.
She says, I know he has a crush on me, so I'm just going to lay back and sit there and let him. ...
Once again, the world has proven anything you can do, I can do better. Once again, the world...
Please.
Of course!
Really?
No.
Can I stay with you?
What?
Can I stay with you, please?
Of course!
Really?
No.
Okay. I mean, he's obviously doing a lot. Famous. He's trying to be a star, but I do think he did have a crush on Hannah and also trusted her and is kind of that, like, he's that guy. Like, we will probably see him on Perfect Match.
Oh, he's going to be on something, like, literally, he is in that clip with the circle players. He's posting social media content with Hannah. But by the way, that's his apartment, or like her apartment. So they're like together. It's not like they're, just on the street at like a press outlet. They're like on like at someone's house or something. So they're definitely either like hooking up or like seeing each other, or they're both like just trying to get on Perfect Match. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, because Tony, if there's any Netflix person to come up, look, from the Mole, they had God, what's his name? He was on Perfect Match twice.
Yeah.
They had him, and he barely says a word. So if they're not going to have Tony, you know what I mean? Like, Tony is like built, like, I feel like Netflix cast him on the Mole thinking, and then we will put him on Perfect Match.
Perfect Match. He's so attractive. I mean, he is attractive, but I also didn't really think he was the villain. I don't understand why they're saying he's the villain. I don't think him or Hannah have done anything to get a villain edit.
I don't think so either. I think, you know what it is that like because he sat there and was the first person to say, I'll sit here and drain this whole pot for this exemption. And that's, I think, maybe the first time that was ever done. And that was the record amount at that time before what happens later. That was the most a pot has ever been drained in the Mole history. So it seemed like, oh my God, he did this big thing. But it was like, look, he just wanted that exemption. He was playing the game. It was early on. He knew there was more challenges to win more money. It was a way to stand out. And it was a way for people to get attention on him, which more so than the last season of the Mole. I remember like the old school Mole. People used to not really want suspicion on them. And like one of the commenters said above, this season, they all seem, especially Sean, but they all seem very pleased when people think it's them because the other people will vote wrong and they can throw them off instead.
Yeah, 100%. This is the thing. I just feel like, well, with this season, like they are all putting this weird attention on themselves, like you said, like to vote them other people off instead. Like, what is Sean doing? He's doing too much too. You know what I mean? Like, that's why Tony went home.
I think it's because they're really confused, and I think they genuinely don't know who the Mole is. And if you're not sure, then you're like, okay, the best thing I can do is make them think it's me, because especially when there's a lot of people there, like as it gets narrowed down, you get better. But if you're like, I really don't know, or you're split between people that have such different characteristics, like it's either a guy or a girl, they don't have the same hair color. So when the quizzes came up and it's like, do they have brown hair or this color hair? Are they a male or a female? If you're really not sure, or if you're torn between people, then to put suspicion on you to throw everyone off for just one quiz, even like to make it seem like so obvious that you must be, isn't a bad plan. Like, I think if I was panicking and wasn't sure who it was and I was in there, I would be like, I have to do something immediately to make them vote for me tonight because I'm going to lose if I don't.
I do feel like that for sure. So, okay, like Mitza said Ryan is the mole. So your theory, Jen, tell us
Yes,
your
my
theory.
theory is that Ryan is the most likely person to be the mole. And I think this starts all the way back with the Michael situation when they're trying to get that first aid kit from the treasure. And they show Michael keep dropping it. But Ryan is swimming above him. She said she's a strong swimmer. And she's like, I just can't dive down deep enough. But when it comes down to it, at the last second, when she realizes that, like, he's not going to get it, it looks like she saves the day by suddenly being able. She says she's short, so she can't dive deep enough. That has nothing to do with it. And then she suddenly can dive deep enough. So I feel like that was like a weird. Either Michael's the most obvious mole in history, or that was a weird editing trick to make it look like, to throw us off from her and to make it look like put us on the scent of him, and that she was lying and she's like, oh, I just can't get it. I can't get it because she's the mole. So why would she? But then once like they're really, really not getting it and she thinks she's run out the clock for long enough, she helps him. But so much suspicion is already on him that then she can go get it. Like she has sabotage.
I see what you're saying. And also like in this last one that we see, okay, so Ryan is on the far right in this photo, the blonde. Michael is in the middle, and then Muna, which I don't think anyone suspects Muna to be the mole. I don't suspect it because she seems to be playing a very upfront game.
Yes.
But
she's so smart, and everyone's like, well, she's about the money. She's about the money, so she must be a team player. But I'm like, but the mole takes the money too, so why wouldn't she want the money?
That is true. That's a good point. I mean, and so refresh my memory. They split the jackpot if they win as a team, right?
I don't remember who gets. I don't know what this season has left over. It's either mole takes all, or I can look up the or somebody in the comments if you know what happens, how many people are left.
And Hannah wants to know when Shima is going to be on. We don't know. We have asked her. She's very busy with her life, but hopefully she'll be on soon. So we hope she'll be on soon. So the mole took it all in the last show, right? So thank you, Zen. So the mole took it all in the last one, but I think that we're saying if the mole doesn't win,
right? How many people are left in the end? Like, it's not just one person. Is it? That's what I'm trying to ask the audience, or trying to look up. I don't remember if it's like 2 people are left or 3 people versus the mole, or like, what's like the final, do they have a concrete number?
There's no concrete number because we're going to find out who the mole is. And it could be like the whole team could get rid of the mole, right?
Right.
Zen said there's 3 in the end. Well, that was last season. They don't say, it's like almost like the traders. Like, they don't really say how many there has to be in the end. They just kind of it could be anything.
I will drop dead Deanna is the mole because, first of all, she's my fave because she was on Don't Fuck with Cats. She was one of the people who found that murderer who also had sex with the dead corpse. And have you ever seen the Netflix documentary Don't Fuck with Cats? It's very disturbing. It's very gross. But they say how the police could not figure out who was committing these crimes, and this heinous murderer, and openly, brazenly bragging about doing it. He's called himself Rocco Magnotta, which is not his real name, which, by the way, is a weird thing because he lived near a bunch of my relatives, and that is their last name. And there are a bunch of Rocco Magnottas, and he said he got the name from a real person. I'm like, oh my God, this crazy, one of the most disgusting, vile criminals on earth named himself after one of it's like my 6th cousin or 7th cousin, but did. That's not his real name, but Don't Fuck with Cats is about that. And she is one of the internet sleuths who goes and figures out she's more like the crazy internet, on Reddit and in group chats. And I think they made a group Facebook then to actually figure out who this criminal is. And the police couldn't do it. And the national crime couldn't, no one could figure out and catch this guy. And some people on the internet decided to go in and to figure out who it was, and she was one of them. So when
And
I
she was
saw her
right,
pop
yeah.
up, I was like, oh my God, it's the Don't Fuck with Cats internet chick. So, like, I will die if it's her because no one thinks it's her. She's been very honest. She's been whatever, but imagine it is her. That would be wild.
Well, I think it would be wild, but then I also feel like it might make sense. But she doesn't give me any suspicion. I don't have any suspicion on her. And in this last competition, I think when the heat is getting when they're getting closer to the end, the heat is on, you start to see more things that people are doing that also, by the way, we're only seeing edited parts, right?
Yeah.
So they could be doing these kind of weird things throughout the whole thing and they're not showing it to us.
Right.
But in the hideaway room or whatever, my first suspicion is that one of those people in the hideaway room is the mole. That does make sense to me from a production standpoint. So Ryan being in that hideaway room does
Yes.
make sense.
Yeah.
Because if you're a producer, you kidnap a faithful or whatever, a non-mole person and the mole.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
you put them in the room together so that the mole can sabotage the escape.
Right.
But-
and then the mole, well, keep going.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, but in this point, she is can play it off, where she can play it off to completely sabotage it or just play it off where she's just not, I just don't
Not
understand.
helpful.
Right.
Right. So it's interesting. This is what made me think a little bit about Deanna though. So Deanna is well, I'm going to give Ryan the phone to observe her. She does one observation of it and sees that Ryan is useless and doesn't say, give me the phone. This is a vocal person, an outspoken person, a person who has tracked down somebody who killed and murdered animals and people and that the police couldn't even track down, is not afraid to take charge, is not afraid to do things like that, and is very smart, is very good at noticing everything. That's one of the ways they caught this murderer, is that she would notice tiny details. So if Deanna is in there with Ryan and Ryan's oh, there's windows, we're in here, and then is oh, there's a statue of a clock. If Deanna, unless she was just so nervous or so nerve-wracked, doesn't say there's religious icons, everything is red. If she's not screaming those things out to Ryan to say and letting Ryan suck under the guise of saying, well, I'm going to observe her in case she's the mole, that would be such brilliance that I'm Deanna forever.
That would be, Deanna is next level mole.
Yeah,
Right.
she would be the next level. If it was her, it would be the most next level best thing ever, because right now it's they made it so obvious that it was probably Michael, with the bomb cutting one where it's him and Ryan together.
Well,
and
yes, that to me was so obvious that they were telling them to cut the yellow, but they cut the blue. So almost because Michael was so frazzled in that situation and Ryan wasn't frazzled. And
No.
even when they were trying to figure out the weight, Ryan wasn't Ryan acted I can't figure it out. But Michael was it had he was very frazzled and he wanted to get the clue so that they could get the money, all the things. Barbie said that, have we always been able to think so creatively about the social situations, or did we learn from reality TV? I think we learned from being on reality TV.
I think it's chicken or egg. How do you get on reality TV? You're already like this.
Maybe, but I think I learned so many to think like a producer from observing how the producers are, and from observing how the games come unfold, and from observing how the game is. That's where I learned how to think creatively about how these other players are going to play, or about how the producers are going to be what they're looking for, or you just listen to everything. And also working a little bit working in casting and kind of just figuring out what people are looking for from the different personality types, because you kind of know what the different personality types are going to be. Was Ryan like this in casting? We don't know, but
Right.
there's no way that Ryan was going through casting acting like she couldn't even figure out how to cut the right cord or how to get out
Right.
of music. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I don't know. I think
Well,
that does put money, that does kind of give her, like you said, like I never even thought about it until you put it into my head. And now the more that I think about it, I'm like, that does kind of make sense from a standpoint of casting. And then also, what if production, this is just crazy. This is me being crazy. But what if they put Deanna and Ryan together, because Deanna is such a super sleuth with like figuring shit out, and Ryan is the mole. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I thought that was a good juxtaposition for sure. I agree that putting them together, like somebody who is the most clearly a super sleuth and very observant. That's her whole deal, is observing every little detail. But so I've been looking at Ryan's confessionals too, and they're interesting. Like, she does kind of have a story. Somebody does mention maybe her and that their eye is on her. She doesn't have like a stronger storyline the way they're giving Sean a really strong one, Muna. Like, they all do have stronger, but it's also because her personality, kind of like what Rachel was saying, there's no way on Ryan's casting tape she acted as mellow and like taking a back seat and not having like a personality really. Like,
nobody that's on a reality show acts like this in
so Stephen, that is a good observation, that that people that are really standing out and having lots of confessionals and having big opinions in them are probably acting the way that they really are and the way that they were when they got cast. It's like Muna couldn't hold it in. Muna said that she was going to use her hijab and her headscarf and stereotypes about Muslim women in order to go further. And like, she's such a strong personality that she couldn't help herself but to like, just, hold it. Like, she couldn't contain herself to be her. But it could be possible that Ryan is this total master manipulator with this big personality and is just mellowing it out because they, doesn't want a storyline and doesn't want attention.
And I think that could check out also, because I am like 100% it's Michael. It's got to be Michael. Michael is like the messy one. So we're just talking about the three people that stand out, which, by the way, this photo is from an article about the three people that stand out in the show. So that we always have our standouts in every show. So in this show, I think it's Michael, Ryan, and Muna, because like, from the point of like Michael, maybe he gives it away. Like, I think he's a mole because he messes up all the competitions and he's, telling all the stories, but he could just be that messy personality. You know what I mean?
Or is he messy and just gets frazzled really quickly?
Right. Exactly.
And then also there's when they go back, when Muna, who I truly don't think intentionally didn't grab the second key, unless, maybe, but I think she was like, oh, I have the key, this is it. He goes back and like finds it so fast, just in time, that if he was the mole, he would just do what he usually does, would just be bumbling and be like, oh, I don't know where this thing is. But he kind of saved the day by finding the key super quick, last second, and running back. So that made me think maybe it's not him, and maybe the producers are even giving him more of a suspicious edit when other people have done suspicious stuff and they're not saying it as much, because they go very hard on him. They do the thing with Ryan saying that they show him dropping the thing, but he just could be like non-athletic and not good at it. Ryan's not helping him, but she says she's a good swimmer, and you see she's a strong swimmer and she's treading water. And when it comes down to it, she really does go down and get it. So we know she can. Then the producers show him being next to the barrel that falls off, right after that, when they're trying to get the treasure or the raft to the treasure. But like, is that the producers, like as Rachel was saying, is that the producers leading us to think Michael's the mole and not showing other people's mistakes and making it seem like he's an obvious person and distracting us from other people or Ryan? I don't know.
I don't know either. And Stephen asks if we know that that cast, do they cast the mole specifically, or do they cast the mole after everyone is cast? We don't know, but like, I would think that from a casting point of view, I would think you would find the cast and then from the cast find the mole. But there is a chance that they do specifically go after the mole to like find the mole. But yeah, so the mole, the ending of the mole is coming out Friday. We find out who our mole is. We find out how much money, who's going to win, all the things. It's going to be exciting. So Hannah has posted 3 times in the chat. I'm in the new Big Brother promo saying this is amazing. I'm very excited about that. I don't know what that means.
Awesome.
But Hannah, you'll have to tell me more. I can't wait to see it. But speaking of Big Brother, we have photos from the house. And I want you to guess, Jen Hoffman, if you think they're AI generated or if you think they are real photos. Okay, here's our first one. So this is the bedroom. Entertainment Tonight has posted these. Julie's posted them, CBS, everyone. So the top bedroom picture clearly looks like it is a floor made of clouds.
Yeah, it looks like Midjourney.
Yeah. Like
I think that's on purpose.
I think it looks like Minecraft.
Totally. It does also look like Minecraft.
Yeah. So I was
It
like,
looks like, yeah.
it has to be AI generated. Now the bottom photo, I wonder if these are real beds and then they have AI generated images around them. And then how is that going to play into the house? Because, okay, Julie says in a video that this house is where they're calling it the AI theme. I don't know what that even means, like, to be honest. But
I feel like CBS is also like, AI is hot right now. Let's just. So it could either be something super interesting where they really use AI and confuse people with it and make them, maybe the live feed is an AI weird like Minecraft type world, like who knows? Or it could be just like a big network being like, well, AI is a catchy, popular thing.
Yeah, everyone's talking about AI.
Yeah, and then not knowing what to do with it. So that'll be funny to see. But
well,
like,
their photos are obviously have AI elements. And I said, my joke was that I think that the first HOH challenge is us as the viewer having to guess which is an AI generated photo and which is like a real photo of the house. Because I'm like, okay, these photos are all super AI-y. Like they're just these elements. Like, are you kidding me? Look at this top element.
Yeah.
And it's not just the flooring that throws me off here. It's like the pool table looking beds. And I was like, maybe that's the have not room, which would be super cool. But then I was like, but that table and chair doesn't even look real. It just looks like this whole thing is a badly image from the 1990s, like a time warp.
Yeah.
Right? It literally looks like
It's
from
like,
the 1990s.
It's intentionally very AI, so I wonder what they're going to do with it, because if you use Midjourney to make art or one of those ones in the beginning, like it's gotten a little better, but like even like a year ago I played with it, I was like, these images are so cheesy. People be like, oh, isn't this amazing, and show a landscape they'd made, and I'd be like, no, it looks like a terrible, almost like airbrushed 80s weird. Like I didn't get why people thought. I still don't think it's that great. I think you can do some cool things with it, but like landscapes and rooms and stuff still look very artificial and weird to me and not that cool. So I feel like either CBS and Big Brother's being very smart and in on the joke and kind of making it like campy AI whatever, or they truly just don't know what to do with it. So that is very interesting to me to see how they use AI. Like, are they actually going to try to integrate it into the gameplay and the way people interact, or are they just like, this is the theme because AI?
I think it's their okay, because Brendan and I talk about it all the time. Because I am a Big Brother super fan and I have been on the show and I have met people that work on the show. I think that they're integrating this into the theme with these photos and with the fact that they're calling it AI. I don't think it's going to play out in the game, but I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be super meta for them to like have an AI player or have an AI universe that the house guests could go into? Because it could work with Big Brother. But then I don't want my Big Brother house guests to be AI. I want real people. I want messy.
Remember, did you see the circle, how they had one of the players be AI for the first few?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But that it didn't even turn out good.
Yeah, I kind of liked it because they didn't expect it, and they were like, it was hilarious when they showed like the photo, when they showed like that it was a catfish, but it was actually a catfish of just like a box, and it was AI. That cracked me up. So I thought that was kind of clever and smart and a good way to introduce it, because I actually did like watching what it said and seeing how it was doing better than everyone at first, but then it took a turn and got weird and like kind of didn't get it. Like it was almost like too like objective forward. So then
because AI doesn't have emotions. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why it doesn't work for Big Brother. And also, like, it's called machine learning, right? AI. Brendan always is like, it's not artificial intelligence, it's machine learning. So it has to like learn its traits from something, which would mean that it would get all of its traits about how to play Big Brother from past Big Brother.
From watching past Big Brothers, which
so
is
you
like
see an AI robot.
maybe you're in it and you don't even know it since you're signed away.
Literally.
And you're going, that's amazing. Like maybe AI has learned from Rachel, like learned from winners.
It has to.
Yeah.
If AI would have learned from all the past winners, now that could be an interesting twisty twist, as they call it. Like if they took an AI robot to learn from all of the past winners of Big Brother, and they have incorporated this technique and strategy into one system to see if this AI player makes this like much better Big Brother player. But the thing is like, you can't control the other humans, right?
Right.
So like how the humans are going to interact with this. Plus, like, it works on the circle because you're not seeing the AI and you assume it's a human. But if you're in Big Brother world, you're living with people, you form relationships and emotions, and that's what Big Brother's all about, is the human interaction. So for it to have any part of AI just strips it of the human interactions and human emotion. Even if you think that like an AI bot is going to be a better Big Brother player, you don't get that, which we love the human interactions and emotions. That's why
everything from just being in an unfamiliar house or being self-conscious around other people, getting used to the cameras, not being sure if someone looked at you a certain way, not being sure how it's vibes. Everything's vibes and energy too between people, which is what makes Big Brother great. Like, do I trust not just what they say, but their vibe and their body language? But I still do think, because on The Circle, they had the AI bot say, I've watched every episode of The Circle and saw what it took for the winners to be successful. So I'm going to try to play. I have a feeling that they're going to say, we had AI watch every episode of Big Brother and maybe play it in. Maybe it'll just be in a challenge or something to figure out which one.
Well, that's what I think too. Like, could it just be an AI challenge? But then even that, like, AI could scrape all the hours of Big Brother so quickly. I mean, according to the, what they tell us about AI, so if it scraped all those hours and learned from every single person, then the AI bot would probably like blow up. Because
what it does is it is able to take in that much, and what it would do is it would then learn really quickly like the patterns and mistakes that people made to get out. So it starts to identify, because I really paid attention to this on The Circle. I was so obsessed with it, because they had an explanation.
Layla wants us to respond to her, but Layla, we love you. We're responding. We see the comments. We'll get to them. Don't worry. I know my hair color is technically real because it is technically red, but it is also not real because I do color it. So it's both real and not real.
Got it.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead with your train of thought.
So I liked how the AI bot on The Circle explained what it was doing. It said, in this situation, from watching previous episodes, a person was successful when they did this, or they became more popular when they did this. So I'm going to do it. And then there was another time where he said, I've noticed that this person has said this, which is something that other people really like. So I think I should start a chat with this person because this person has been analyzed to be the type that would be popular. Like, so I like that, like, revealing behind the curtain of how the AI is thinking, or like what it's basically, they had a voice generated, what it was typing out to play. So that's interesting. But on Big Brother, the way I could see it happening is that maybe the first head of household or a competition will be figuring out who the AI contestants are and aren't, and like you win, you had a household or rewards or something through figuring out if you are talking to AI or not, or which house is the AI house. There's going to be something. I hope it's not the whole thing, but they definitely will have an element of competition
I think they'll try to incorporate it, but I just can't imagine them being able to incorporate it into a player. Like, I would love that as like a social experiment, but I also love, like I said, I love my human interaction in my relationships. Okay, I do have a question for you because this is widely debated. Do you think that, where's my kitchen? No, it's a picture of the kitchen. Do I not have it up here? Okay, so there's a picture of the kitchen with this bar. Okay, do you think this little nook in the corner is AI generated?
I mean,
in the bottom corner?
You know what could be interesting is maybe they're going to be like, figure out what's AI and what's not, and you get in the house if you don't. Or everything here to me now looks like AI because it looks like it either is or they're trying to make it look like AI.
But then why did AI give the HOH room a toilet bowl of a bed? Does that not look like a toilet?
It does kind of look like a toilet.
It literally, like, once I saw that, I can't unsee it. I'm like, no, it's a toilet.
Well, what a production design was tasked to make it look like AI. So some of the photos are AI, like the ones with the clouds or whatever. And then production was tasked to make certain rooms look like AI to fake people out or as part of some task, or just to make the house look very AI-ish.
I mean, that's what I'm kind of assume because they like have all these photos, but Julie Chen like says, we're calling this season of AI or whatever. It's just like, you know, they call everything a season. We're calling this the season of the Saboteur, and it lasts for a week. It's just like, this is the most crazy season ever. So I think it's going to be a like a part of this show, but I think it will be like a little bit where maybe like a challenge or something, but not like the full season. I don't know how they would I don't think technology for Big Brother is there yet. But maybe it is, and we just don't know it. And if it is, that's great, because I think it could be a really cool show to have an AI element with the fans. Like, how cool would that be if you were a fan? You can put on your AI goggles and go in the Big Brother house and work with your favorite players while they're playing the game in real time. I mean, that would be insane.
Maybe they have incorporated something with that, with like
I want to play that game.
One of those interactive things where people
like the Oculus. Yeah, I would put me on that show. I want to be on. I cannot wait until they make an actual game show with humans and like our like virtual, like we're living in a virtual, like it's a real house or something like Big Brother, but there's humans playing the game and we have our virtual people that come in and help us and like play the game with us. Like I want to be on that show. Put me on that reality show. Okay, so here's the cast for the Traitors Canada. So we have Netta from Big Brother Canada, who everyone on here, I know everyone is Canadian, loves this. Netta is like one of the most epic Big Brother Canadians that we've ever had. We love her so much. I'm very excited. Kevin is from The Bachelor, which is surprising to me that he's on this. I didn't realize he was Canadian, but I think they did talk about him being Canadian. So like we have a bunch of people from like, you know,
I don't know a single one of these people. I don't think. Maybe Kirkland. I'm just gonna lay down and lounge. I don't want to go off the screen. I'm like,
okay, so they have this really fun show, it's called Farming for Love in Canada, and it's very similar to like Joe Schmo or like a show like that Want to Marry a Farmer, right? Yeah, but it's actually better. It's like really, really fun. Like the Farming for Love show is really fun. So they have incorporated a bunch of their celebrities, their local Canadian celebrities to play.
Everyone's Canadian.
This is all Canadian. Yeah, they're all Canadian. This is the Canadian one. But I have to show it because I know a lot of people that are fans of ours are Canadians.
Like Big Brother fans are Big Brother fans, just like Traitors is amazing no matter where it's played.
Oh, yeah, you know? Of course.
Yeah.
So they said the BB themes are, Steven said the BB themes are rarely full season. It's so true. You're right. They're not.
That was a very good point, Rachel. How you're like, it's a season of the Saboteur. And then like 2 weeks later, they totally forgot that they ever even brought that up. That is like definitely a thing with Big Brother.
Yeah, 100%. And then, okay, here is the cast. So our friend Reality TV Fan posts a lot of casts. So this is for the World Series of RuPaul's Drag Race.
They all look like AI.
Huh?
They all look like AI.
I mean, these
This
might
is
be
like
AI images because I don't think the cast has actually even been officially released yet. I think that this is like the rumored cast. So this is our World Series drag race cast to dream, I think is what, or like the rumors. But like this is, if this is true, this is gonna be a great drag race because like, are you kidding me? We have like Alyssa Edwards. We have like, I mean, these drag queens are just like, these girls are just amazing. Like some of the best from all the drag races. I've never seen Gala. I've never seen the Mexican one. So I don't know Athena or Gala. If you're in the chat and you're a Drag Race fan, let me know. I've seen most of the others that have done collabs with the American draggers and the Canadian one, UK one, because I know Kitty Scott, but a lot of them, I mean, it should be fun. Like it will be a really fun cast. So I hope that
Alyssa
that's
Edwards
real.
is the one I know the best. The rest of them, I'm
Yeah.
like, some of them, that's funny because the one that says,
Yeah, and Alyssa Edwards was just on the goat. Huh.
yes, yeah. But not, but like dressed down, like just without.
Well, not in the season finale of Goat. So
I didn't see it yet.
Yeah,
I
came
don't
in
mind
on the season finale, in full drag. Yes, and I was gonna. Steven said, "I had no idea you were a drag fan." Yes, I am a Drag Race lover. I've loved every season. It's been so fun. One of my dreams was always to get to be a judge or something, to host, to like, you know, whatever. I don't know, like however I could be on that. Like it would be a dream. I mean, could you imagine me with all those queens and the makeup and the sequins and the glitter? I daydream. I watch the show sometimes just so I can get outfit inspiration for shows that I'm going to go on.
You're like,
Not
basically like you're yourself in drag.
Exactly. Like that is how I feel in my heart. Yes. All right. So what is casting right now? We just have a lot of game shows casting. Let's Make a Deal is looking for local Los Angeles contestants, big personalities. Look, for Let's Make a Deal, if you come up dressed in a costume, make sure it's not like copyrighted costume. Like don't come as Mickey Mouse, but come as like a mouse. You have a great chance of being on the show. You can show up to a taping. All the information is at letsmakeadealcasting.com. You can show up to a taping and get picked out of the audience, and you could get picked even for just like a spontaneous deal. They also do cast for the show. So if you want to be on the show, go to letsmakeadealcasting.com or lmadcasting.com. And it is a really fun show. Brendan and I got to be in the audience and we got to help someone win $200. It was
that's so fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. Like they told us we couldn't win. And I was like, why can I not win? I should be able to win. But because I have been on so many CBS things.
When I was a child, I was obsessed with being on all those shows. I was like, I want to be on all of them. I would daydream about it. Derek from my season of The Apprentice, my co-firee who got fired. Yeah. People were surprised that he got on The Apprentice because that's now they don't mind if you've been on something, but they used to be very strict. And he's been on like a bunch of game shows. He was on one before The Apprentice, maybe even two before it. And then after it, he did more. And then he's been on like HGTV shows. Like Derek is like, it's funny because he has that personality and that type of thing where he would be like amazing on Big Brother, by the way, like talks shit, you don't really know where he's coming from, but instead he's like addicted to being on game shows instead of like reality shows. So that's just like a funny little tidbit about.
Oh, that's well, you should tell him because speaking of game shows, he would be really good. It sounds like he would be good on Pop Culture Jeopardy. And you can go to jeopardy.com and find out information about this. But they're looking for contestants that are aficionados at pop culture, and they're looking for totally different contestant types than what they have on the regular Jeopardy show. They want like,
oh my God. There's two reasons. One, they're like, everyone's not watching regular Jeopardy anymore because everyone's getting dumber. They're like, two, and everyone is getting dumber and only cares about like what they see on TikTok and pop culture. So how are we going to not lose our audience of like Alex Trebek fans and like boomers that are passing away in Gen X? They're like, make it pop culture. That's
Pop
so
Culture
funny.
Jeopardy. But it's a full show, so they're still gonna have regular Jeopardy. This is just gonna be like a branch or like a spin-off of the show, which by the way, I think is gonna be very fun. I can't wait to watch it.
Fun.
I was recently a Jeopardy question.
Were you?
Yes, I was. It was very. It was an honor to be a Jeopardy
That's
question.
a big deal.
It was hilarious because it was not pop culture Jeopardy. It was regular Jeopardy.
What was
And
it?
it was like, the quote was, Rachel is a hoe bag. And I was like, that's the quote they picked
On
that-
regular Jeopardy?
on regular Jeopardy.
And it was like,
I
who
was
is- it wasn't
I
like,
won
who is
HOH,
Rachel
and it was about
Riley, or was it-
Kristen. It said, what TV show is this from? Something about you win HOH, and then this is the quote. The quote was, Rachel is such a hoe bag. It's like, you're super jealous of me, girl. It was Kristen calling your old
Kristen
roommate,
Bidding?
Kristen. Yeah,
My roommate Kristen.
your roommate, Kristen, calling me a hoe bag. It was very embarrassing, but it was also hilarious. Brendan was like, that's hilarious. It's on regular Jeopardy. I was like, who says hoe bag on Jeopardy?
I'm so surprised that was on there. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
I was surprised too. How did Kristen get a quote on Jeopardy? I know. That's what I said too. Of all the quotes, right? Like, I have been so many famous Big Brother quotes, and that's the one that they decided to pick. When is Shima going to be on? Hannah, we don't know, but we invited her, and she's very busy, so we're hoping that she'll be on soon.
She said yes, and that she'd like to talk about it, and we're just trying to get our schedules together. Look, all three of us are moms. We all have kids, and we're all dealing with different stuff. So, in her own time. Also, it's a pretty intense thing to talk about. So it's like, she probably doesn't want her kids at home and around if she's going to be talking about this. So organizing these things are a little bit hard.
Okay, so Press Your Luck is casting. This is big money,
No whammies.
So I love Press Your Luck. Few things I want to give you guys tips. So make sure that you are ready to play a game, because if you go through on your Zoom, the first thing you're going to do is play a game of Press Your Luck. What they're looking for in that game is that you have high energy, that you say things like big money, no whammies, that you say like you're like excited about it. It's not really like there's no trivia really. They're just looking for like, contestants that, have some basic information, but you do take a test. So for a lot of these like network game shows, you are going to take a test. When I had my test for the floor, I was like, so I did not know what to expect, and I studied before my test, because I knew I've done casting, right? So I knew that like a lot of these big game shows, they ask you to do a test like on camera because they want to see how you're going to play the game. So I remember the biggest tip that one of the casting directors for a game show told me was, when they're doing the test, also to make sure you talk through your answers and talk through what you're saying, because they want to see how you're going to be in the gameplay round. So if like a thing comes up and it's like, so for the floor, it was like a picture of, I don't even know, one of the Great Lakes. Okay. I was like, I don't know the Great Lakes. I was like, Lake Erie, Lake Minnesota, it's in Michigan. I don't know. But they're like, this is great. This is hilarious. So one of the astronauts popped up, and it was like, what, Buzz Aldridge, I guess is his name. So
Buzz
he pops
Aldrin.
up, and I'm like, Buzz Lightyear. I literally said,
Buzz Lightyear. Oh my God, that's
what
so
I said
funny.
Buzz Lightyear. And the casting producer was cracking up, and I was like, Buzz Aldrin.
That's so funny. Buzz Aldrin was rude to my mom in a mall once.
Oh no!
Just putting that out there. Actually, he probably just wanted to be left alone, and my mom was like, oh,
yeah.
But that being said, my mom was disappointed because, she's 80 years old now. So like the moon landing is like, she was like younger, and like, he's like a huge hero. Half people here are like, who is he? Or are thinking, are you talking about Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story? Yeah. So I'm like, dude, while you still have your super fans that probably thought you were like so sexy and like a hot astronaut, like, take it. That's so funny.
Well, it's funny because during that she was cracking up, so I knew I was doing good.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great tip though, the thinking through your answers, because they don't want dead air. That's the worst thing ever. So if it was like a picture of the Great Lakes and you couldn't think of the names, you could even say like, okay, 5 Fingers, Michigan, just like say anything that comes into your mind.
Anything that comes to your head. Literally. And if you don't know the answer to a quiz question they ask you for like Press Your Luck or something, just like Jen said, think of whatever comes to your head. If it's like 5 fingers and you're just like, well, there's a cat and there's a dog and then there's a scary movie or something. Whatever you have to say, just make sure you're continuing to talk through your answer, because they really want to make sure that you're not going to have dead air, that you're going to say funny things when you don't know the answer. And it doesn't have to be like a comedian funny. It just has to be like silly things that come to your head.
Yeah, it can even be like, oh my God, I failed geography. I was really bad in it in junior high, and you're gonna give me this, or oh my gosh, I've never even been to the Midwest, or like I don't even know where Michigan is. Like, just say
literally anything. And that's another point too, is that for game shows, they want to hear you having fun with it, and they really want to hear answers that are like energetic and fun. And if you're just like, I don't know history, why did you give me a history question, and it's about the Great Lakes, then that's even better, so I think it's like you just want to kind of have fun with it. You want to have, and like, make sure you say something, and don't say like, oh, I'm so dumb, I never knew this. Like, don't ever put yourself down. Just kind of have fun, because remember, these are live game shows, so they want to make sure that you are fun and energetic and on your toes, and that you're having fun, because at the end of the day, people watch game shows because the contestants are having fun and they're winning big prizes.
That's true.
So let's see what else is casting. So for the end of the week, the Secret Destination show is casting, and I got the tea because I talked to my friend who's casting it, Angela. So they're looking for girls right now. So if you are
what is it about? I don't know that one.
I don't know that. I asked her, I was like, can you tell me anything
about it?
Are you ready for the road trip of a lifetime? If you travel, adventure, and outsmarting your competition, this is a new series. Oh, so it's like, sounds like Amazing Racy, but just girls, but you don't know where you're going. Looking for
sounds
smart,
like Amazing Racy, but I don't know any information about it. I asked her for information. Yeah. So I think they're looking for competitors, and they're looking for people that have big personalities, is what she said.
On the bottom, it says, if you can guess your destination, you win a big cash prize. So apparently, like, they send you around and you don't know, maybe there's clues or a road trip, and if you can guess where they're sending you, you win. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And Hannah asked if I was going to be on the floor. Well, unfortunately, Hannah, I went through all of my testing and then the background medical psych, all that stuff, but I did not get on this season. So maybe another season.
How is that possible? I don't understand why.
It's not possible either. But then I'm always like under the impression that they want people that haven't been on TV, or that they don't want, like, I always think that, but they called me and they said that this season that they wanted people that were big personalities from other TV shows that have been on a lot of other TV shows. So I kind of thought, so this is what I think I did wrong too, which is something people can learn from. So I kept telling them, they're like, what's your category? And I was like, reality TV trivia. And they're like, no, but like, what's your other category? And I was like, no, like Big Brother. Like, I know everything about Big Brother. And they were like, okay, but do you know everything about anything else? And I was like, no. So I think I might have messed up myself up, because they were like, well, tell us, like, what do you know about? And I was like, I honestly don't know, except for like reality TV. I don't feel comfortable with like all these other categories, because I don't really know. I don't know. Like, it's such a random thing, because you don't know what pictures they're going to show you. So like, I don't know what kind of bird that is. Like, are you kidding me? You want me to know about a bird? Like, I don't know anything. I know, like, I knew eagle, and I kept calling a sparrow a red robin, and a hawk, or something. I just like, I don't know about, it's hard to know everything about everything, but
yeah, you could just have like
maybe, so that means maybe
clothing, makeup, brand.
Right. So maybe there will be some other reality TV personalities on this season of The Floor. It films in Ireland.
Oh,
yeah, for 10 days.
That's my biggest problem. There's so many of these shows, and I'm like, I'd like to go back and do it again, but I'm like, okay, where do I put my 7.5-year-old? I mean, like, she could stay with her dad for part of the time, but it's like, it's just.
Well, I was going to bring Adora.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. They told me I could bring her, but I have to obviously pay for my own travel for them. And then I was going to bring my mom and just have them stay in the hotel room with me.
That'd be so fun.
Oh, Hannah said I could have done chemistry. I tried to do chemistry, but apparently that topic was taken. So, maybe it'll be a different one. Maybe they'll have me on a different floor. I also said I wanted to do Drag Race, and that topic was taken. I was like, I tried to give them like 12 different topics, but all of the ones besides Big Brother. So I don't know what they were looking for. That's the hardest part. You never know what they're looking for. So you sometimes just don't get on the shows because of like, you just might not be what they're looking for. And then this one, oh wait, sorry, that already wrapped casting. So I think that's it. Okay. That's what we have right now. It's not a lot of stuff right now casting. The industry is like, I think they are casting bigger shows like The Mole, like, you know, the Squid Games is casting, Beast Games just wrapped, like a bunch of stuff just wrapped. I think we'll start having another wave of things. I know there's a lot of game shows coming out, but we'll see.
Love Island might be casting for their next one too.
I know. I just texted my friends that work for Love Island. I was like, hey, I need a job. Can you?
I feel like everyone I know cast for Love Island. I want to cast for Love Island too because it's so fun. There are so many people. I'm just gonna look at this right now. Let me see. Yep. Okay. So one of my friends cast Love Island. One of your friends cast Love Island. Does everybody cast Love Island? Does it have an army of people casting it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at my friend's her Instagram, and I'm seeing that she did the last season. I'm like,
There is like, they do have a lot of people work on the show because, you know, they want to find the best people. They cast a long time. So Love Island is one of the shows also that they give them a long casting period to like look for good contestants, which is really good because it's really hard to find good contestants in a short amount of time. But yeah. So anyways, well, this has been so much fun, Jen, talking with you and our podcast and having fun. I can't wait for the Big Brother cast. So this is what's going to happen. So Big Brother cast is going to come out and we are going to be covering the cast. We'll go through our thoughts on everyone on this podcast. We'll go through all the different like possibilities of who we think is going to team up, all that, like do our Big Brother draft. And then when the first 2 episodes drop, we're going to do our podcast on Thursday, of course. So we'll get to kind of like let everyone know about that. But so I think our extra, depending if they drop the cast on Monday, which I'm thinking they might be dropping it now on Monday. I was thinking it would be today, but I'm guessing at this point, I'm guessing Monday. So because of that, I think we'll probably be back here either Monday or Tuesday. We're going to pop on. It will be a pop-up.
Yeah, we're going to do a pop-up one that's not a Thursday. So final thoughts, who do you think the mole is?
Oh, for sure the mole is, I mean, I still think it's Michael. Like, I think it's just, obviously it's Michael. But the Ryan, it could be Ryan. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Ryan.
If I had to bet money, I'd say Ryan. But if it's the best show on earth, it's Deanna.
I mean, if it's Deanna, then it's absolutely next level. And we need to all study Deanna. And like... And watch out for her in real life.
Yeah. And also, if you want to see more Tony, we're placing our bets that he will be on Perfect Match.
Oh, and Hannah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they're both so good looking. Why wouldn't they be?
Right.
And also they'll probably be on, because Netflix is like doing all these like repeat reality shows anyways. Oh my God, Zen said we need it to be Deanna.
We need it to be Deanna. I know, that's how I feel in my heart and in my soul.
If it is Deanna.
So incredible. I love her. She's like a hero. She was like the hero of one of the most twisted documentaries.
If it's Deanna, I want her to write a book. Like immediately. Because we need to study her behavior.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been so fun. Where can we find you, Jen?
So my Instagram is at Jen Hoffman High, like HI. If anybody is still on Twitter or X, I feel like it's all bots or just like people screaming about things. I'm at Jen Hoffman. And yeah, just go to my Instagram, say hello.
I'm at Rachel E. Riley Villegas. Go to my Instagram as well. But also I am on TikTok now. I'm doing lives on TikTok every day. So go to my TikTok. It's Rachel Riley Villegas. Someone took Rachel E. Riley Villegas. I'm like, who would take my entire?
Would take that?
Who takes my entire name? I have no idea. I'll have to
That's so
find
good.
out who this person
Wait,
is.
that's a
But-
good directive because I haven't really messed with TikTok yet and I want to get into it. So I think I'm Jen Hoffman High, like HI on TikTok too. So follow us both on TikTok and maybe we'll even broadcast this to TikTok too.
We
Make our
actually
want to do
on
TikTok.
Monday when we do the live cast reveal, we will be. So
Okay.
I already asked Fairplay for permission to do that. So we will be doing that, but it'll be a
Okay.
pop-up. So we don't know. We're doing it whenever we've already talked about whenever they release it, we're gonna do a pop-up. If it's Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Monday, I don't know, Thursday, right before they do the show. Who knows? We're just gonna we're gonna do it and we'll be
Yes.
here. So and we'll be streaming to TikTok. I think we can like do a few streams. So we might be able to stream to both of our TikTok accounts. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've never streamed to TikTok. Maybe we'll have to do like a practice one of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, love you forever. This has been so fun. We'll see everyone on next week. And Monday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, such a big week. Prime Day is also coming up if anyone's into Prime Day.
I should start doing that, Rachel. You should start mentoring people because I have the thing and I have the affiliate links and the Amazon thing, and they keep sending me what the deals are for Prime Day. So follow Rachel because Rachel does lives where she does like I'm trying to study what Rachel is doing because I see some of the other people. By the way, I'll give you a great plug. So I've been watching a lot of people do their Amazon lives that are Amazon affiliates and influencers and stuff, and I'm so bored by a lot of them because they're either not interesting or they're like pristine, perfect, like I like this and I like this. There's some really fun people, but like I really like the way you do it just because your personality is very like it's easy to watch it and fun. So I'm like watch your Amazon lives. I will be watching yours to learn from it so I can actually jump on this opportunity I have because they only give you like a limited amount of time.
Yes.
And you're a queen.
You're a queen. All right. Bye everyone.